Now, I want to move on, talk about banning. They're banning people now from Parliament as well. Lydia Thorpe was banned from the Senate this week. Let's have a listen to Lydia Thorpe yelling out some pretty vile pro-Palestinian garbage, which seems to be her latest thing.
Yes.
Free, free Palestine!
I call the clerk.
To the sea! Palestine will be free!
I call the clerk.
She is tiresome and painful. Rita, what do you make of her being tossed out of the Senate for the day or whatever it was?
She's comical at this point, Lydia.
Self-parody.
It is. It's almost amusing because there are people whose voting record in the upper house is as abysmal as hers. At least she brings some entertainment. So it's hard for me to be genuinely angry at her because she's a character, almost a caricature that has been enabled by the far left and the left generally in this country. This just almost from central casting,
Absolutely.
her belief system, it's just so idiotic, so intellectually vacuous.
Yep.
But you know what? I can find far more glowing media reports and features on Lydia Thorpe, and you know when she was first elected and came in holding her fist up, and you know, and that sort of identity politics has been so celebrated in this country that we shouldn't be surprised that characters like her are popped up.
You're right. She's the logical conclusion of the education system and that we have in this country. She's the logical conclusion of where the media push many of the arguments, James.
Well, no, that's exactly right. And the other thing, too, about Lydia Thorpe is that, you know, she left her party. And so, you know, this is something I think that we really need to have a real think about in this country, too, is when you are elected to a party on a ticket, you're elected on a Senate ticket, you know, it's not you who's running specifically. And then you get into the Senate and then you ditch that party. Well, what's the reason for you being there? You shouldn't be in there.
Someone who did that was, of course, Fatima Payman.
Yes.
I'll be talking
Another
about
great
her
example.
later on in the show, where she and Lydia Thorpe
Her
belong, which is in
performance
Clown
this
Show,
week
of course.
was
Yes.
disgraceful. I don't
Yes.
think enough has been said there. I think at least with Lydia these days, after the glowing commentaries died down, she now actually does have some scrutiny, including from the media. But Payman, what she did this week, and I know you're going to be talking about it later in the program, I thought that was one of the most disgusting things I've seen on the Australian Parliament.
Let's just show what we're talking about.
In another statement, she says, we're bringing in people from South Africa at the moment. There's a huge amount coming into Australia who have disease. They've got AIDS. If that is not racist, what is it?
No, she said a lot more than that. That's I'm sure we'll be playing it later in the program. But the comments she made towards Senator Hanson were absolutely despicable, beneath contempt, and I think she gets away with it because she wears a hijab. She's a picture of diversity in Australia. And I can tell you, wearing a hijab should not give you a pass for behaving that way in Parliament.
Well, what was worst about the way she behaved, James, was that she accused Senator Hanson of racism based on some comment, a legitimate comment from 20, 30 years ago about people with HIV or AIDS coming in from an area which had a large population that had HIV or AIDS. So a perfectly legitimate medical comment, which Payman accused her of racism. But what is sickening is that Fatima Payman, I don't hear her calling out racism when we have people marching up and down the streets with their anti-Semitic behaviour, smashing cars in Wallara, smashing Christmas decorations outside Myers, yelling about F the Jews or where's the Jews or anything else. We don't hear a word from Fatima Payman. That's racism, Fatima Payman. What you condone or allow, or what you don't condemn. Sorry, I'll rephrase that. What you fail to condemn there, that is real racism.
Standard you walk past.
Yes, that's right. The standard you walk past. I mean, the one thing I will say in her defence is that she did essentially kill off the misinformation bill, so you can kind of give her a little bit of credit for that one there.
Yeah.
But, you know, that said, though, there's also have a huge problem with this whole idea of policing the lines of debate, what are acceptable things, what are unacceptable things to talk about, which is exactly what her and the left, when they entertain her, are trying to do. And, you know, we'll be talking a bit later in the program about, you know, the way even on the left people are talking about immigration in ways that they weren't, you know, even a year ago in Britain and places like that. We do not need more policing of debate on these matters.
Absolutely.